A very good afternoon to you. You're welcome to the World News on Souk News Television. We're reaching you live from our studios in Lagos. I am Grace Komalafe. First, let's bring you some of our top stories. Nigeria sustains oil production above OPEC quota, hits 1.5 million barrels per day. Federal government approves 142 billion naira for constructing modern bus terminals in 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. Uganda launches 4th large-scale Chinese-owned gold mining project. Germany insists on U.S.'s pledge to reduce tariffs on Europe-manufactured cars before any wider EU-US agreement. And Nigeria's The Tigers beats Cameroon 99-90 to advance to AfroBasket qualifier finals. Thank you for joining us. Now we'll bring you the news in details. Nigeria has sustained crude oil production above its OPEC set quota of 1.5 million barrels per day (NBPD) for the second consecutive month, according to the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries (OPEC) August 2025 monthly oil market report. Data showed that average daily production stood at 1.505 MBPD in June and 1.507 MBPD in July, up from 1.453 MBPD recorded in May. This marks the third time in 2025 that Nigeria has met or surpassed its production quota, with January posting the year's highest output at 1.54 MBPD. Production, however, dipped below target earlier in the year, 1.46 MBPD in February, 1.40 in March, 1.48 in April, and 1.45 in May. Analysts say the recent stability reflects improved operational efficiency and relative calm in oil-producing areas. They, however, caution that sustaining this momentum will require consistent investment in infrastructure, security, and production facilities to guard against disruptions. And now Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves climbed to $40.16 billion last week, supported by steady forex inflows and a marginal boost in crude oil output, according to data from the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. Gross external reserves rose from $37.934 billion on April 30 to $38.298 billion by May 14 and have continued to grow, reaching the current level. The growth comes as Nigeria's crude oil production increased by 0.67% in July, hitting 1.51 million barrels per day. This meets the OPEC Plus quota of 1.5 million barrels per day for the third time this year, after similar performances in January and June. Despite this, production still lags behind the 2025 budget benchmark target of 2.06 MBPD. Analysts, however, projected a slight rise in output for August, which could translate into stronger contributions to external reserves. The increase signals improved resilience for Nigeria's external sector and provides a buffer for exchange rate stability. Still in the news, Nigeria's manufacturing sector is increasingly turning inward as naira devaluation and forex scarcity reshape supply chains across the country. A new Financial Times report on Sunday revealed that volatility in the foreign exchange market has pushed many companies to cut their dollar reliance and shift towards local raw material sourcing. Firms that once depended heavily on imports are now exploring domestic supply chains to survive rising costs and ease pressure on foreign reserves. The shift comes in the wake of the Central Bank of Nigeria's decision to float the naira, a key part of President Bola Tinubu's reform agenda aimed at boosting growth and attracting investment. While the policy was designed to stabilize the economy, it has triggered sharp currency swings that left manufacturers scrambling. With the sector contributing about 9% of Nigeria's GDP, analysts say the adjustment could deepen local value chains, but one of challenges in quality, infrastructure, and capacity that could slow the transition. And now the Kirikiri Lighter Terminal of the Nigeria Customs Service has announced that the command collected 89.2 billion naira as revenue from January to June 2025. In a statement on Saturday, the Customs Area Controller of Keats Egbosa Edeldok explained that the figure showed a 63% increase when compared with 54.84 billion naira collected by the command within the same period in 2024. She added that the increase demonstrated the command's enhanced operational efficiency and improved compliance levels. He also stressed that the command collected the sum through focused reforms, targeted enforcement activities, and practical strategies to boost compliance. She noted that these measures produced clear results and strengthened the command's ability to deliver on its mandate. On anti-smuggling operations, Edeldok reported that the command maintained a posture of alertness, discipline, and zero tolerance for infractions. And our analysts have projected a sustained deceleration in Nigeria's inflation in the near term on the back of the ongoing harvest season, exchange rate stability, softer energy prices, and the base effect. The projections followed the release of the July 2025 Consumer Price Index, which saw the decline in inflation extended to the fourth month. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the headline inflation rate slid to 21.88 from 22.22% in June. On a month-on-month basis, the headline inflation rate in July 2025 was 1.99%, which was 0.31% higher than the rate recorded in June 2025. The food inflation rate in July 2025 was 22.74% on a year-on-year basis. On a month-on-month basis, and the food inflation rate in July 2025 was 3.12%, down by 0.14% compared to June 2025. Core inflation, which excludes volatile agricultural items and energy, slowed to 21.33% in July from 27.47% a year earlier. Month-on-month, it fell to 0.97% from 2.46% in June, reflecting easing price pressures in non-food categories. Still in the news, the federal government has approved a sum of 142,028,576,428 naira for the construction of modern bus terminals across 6 states in the country. This was disclosed during the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu held at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Speaking with State House correspondents after the meeting, Saidu Alkali, Minister of Transportation, confirmed that the bus terminals will be constructed in the 6 geopolitical zones across the country. Alkali noted that the terminals will be sited in Abeokuta, Southwest, Gombe, Northeast, Kano, Northwest, Lokoja, North Central, Onitsha, Southeast, and Warri, South. And moving to the Center of Excellence, the Lagos State government has called on civil servants and stakeholders to actively support efforts to combat money laundering and terrorism financing, warning that both pose serious threats to global peace. The appeal was made at the weekend during a 3-day strategic anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism workshop held in Ekpe for senior government officials. The event was organized in collaboration with the International Institute for African Defense, Security and Governance. Commissioner for Finance, Abayomi Oluyomi, said the training aims to equip civil servants with the insight, skills, and strategies necessary to strengthen their professional capacity and contribute meaningfully to safeguarding society. Represented by the Accountant General of the State, Dr. Abiodun Muritala, Oluyomi stressed that the fight against financial crimes demands continuous vigilance, adaptability, and strong cooperation across borders and sectors. He added that civil servants as key stakeholders must embrace their role in protecting the integrity of financial systems while fostering a safer and more secure environment for all. And now we'll be taking a break. We'll return with more stories. The World News is still on. Please stay with us.
Interest in Nigeria's lithium reserves comes as countries worldwide scramble to secure supplies of the mineral which is essential for powering the green energy revolution. In this special report by Bayo Olaoye, the need to harness this resource for growth and development is examined with the evolution of electric vehicles and renewable energy storage systems. Lithium is a key component in the production of batteries for electric vehicles and renewable energy storage systems, and Nigeria is positioning itself to become a major player in the global lithium market. Nigeria's vast lithium reserves, valued over $34 billion, is no doubt attracting world attention, while lithium factories are springing up in different parts of Nigeria already. The attention of the international mining industry is also focused on lithium because it is critical raw material for the production of solar panels and electric vehicles. Analysts predict that global lithium market could grow robustly over the next decade, driven by the rapid adoption of electric vehicles and renewable energy technologies. Data from a global future market insight showed that the lithium mining industry has emerged as a cornerstone of the clean energy transition, driven by the skyrocketing demand for lithium-ion batteries. The surge in lithium demand is driven largely by the electric vehicles market, which accounted for over 70% of the global lithium consumption in 2024, according to an Iranian-based research firm. With countries such as the United States, China, and members of the European Union pushing for next zero emission by mid-century, lithium demand is expected to escalate further. The federal government, indeed, the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, should intensify efforts geared at renewing and resuscitating the viable lithium industry in the country to its full potential. As Nigeria diversifies its economy into other sectors, the lithium industry offers hope and expectation that this sector would earn more revenue for the country. Nigeria should not just watch with folded arms, but must strive with the political will to develop and strengthen the country's vast lithium reserves.
Welcome to the Africa Development Studies Center, ADSC. ADSC is an organization focused on training and research to advance sustainable development and growth in Africa. We exist to facilitate customized training, research, and study exchanges worldwide on leadership, management, and critical development issues. The center offers a platform for the exchange of ideas and best practices. Our comprehensive services encompass research, consultancy, capacity building, training, and education programs, as well as publishing and disseminating development-related knowledge. Our faculty consists of experts and researchers with extensive experience in policy formulation, implementation techniques, and monitoring and evaluation. Our methodology involves talks, individual and group exercises, games, video screenings, and discussion seminar sessions in a cozy atmosphere, making learning enjoyable for our participants. For more information, email us at info@adstudycenter.com or call +234 912 039 2362. Visit our website at www.adstudycenter.com to learn more about our programs and upcoming events. Africa Development Studies Center, rethinking development for Africa.
Thank you for staying with us. Now we'll bring you more stories in the world news. Uganda has inaugurated its fourth large-scale gold mine, a $250 million Chinese-owned venture located in the eastern Busia district. The Wagage gold mining project, spanning over 9 square kilometers, is designed to process 5,000 tons of ore daily and produce 1.2 metric tons of refined gold annually at 99.9% purity, significantly boosting the country's domestic output. President Yoweri Museveni, who commissioned the project, said gold revenues would fund key national infrastructure such as power stations and the $3.16 billion standard gauge railway on their construction. He emphasized that full value addition in minerals like gold, lithium, and tin is crucial for economic transformation. Uganda earned $3.4 billion from gold export last year, accounting for 37% of total export revenue. Though most came from re-export, with the Wagage project now operational, Uganda aims to expand its mining industry, reduce reliance on artisanal production, and position itself closer to regional leaders such as Ghana, which generated $11.6 billion in gold export in 2024. Ivory Coast's cocoa grinding dropped by 31.2% year-on-year in July, reaching only 39,301 metric tons, according to data from Exporters Association (JPEX). Grinders attributed the sharp decline to poor bean quality, citing low fat content and high acidity, alongside weaker volumes from the mid-crop harvest. From October 2024 to July 2025, total grinding stood at 515,055 tons, down 4% from the same period a year earlier. Cocoa bean arrivals at the country's two major ports, Abidjan and San Pedro, also fell by 30% between April and mid-August, leaving grinders without sufficient stocks to maintain normal operations. Exporters say the sector now depends on the main harvest beginning in October to restore output and rebuild stocks. Industry players, including Barry Balebot, Olam, and Kageo, are preparing to increase purchasing aggressively once higher quality beans become available to sustain Ivory Coast's grinding capacity of about 750,000 tons. Moving ahead, the South African rand opened the week subdued, with traders focusing on upcoming July inflation figures expected on Wednesday. Analysts forecast consumer prices to rise to 3.6% year-on-year, up from 3.0% in June, a reading that could shape monetary policy expectations and influence investor appetite for the currency. By Monday morning, the rand traded at 17.62 against the United States dollar, about 0.2% weaker than Friday's close. Market watchers noted that external geopolitical factors continue to drive direction for the risk-sensitive rand, though a stronger than expected inflation print could increase domestic influence on trading sentiment. South Africa's 2035 benchmark government bond was also under pressure, with its yield edging up by 2 basis points to 9.605%. Analysts suggest that investors remain cautious, considering positions until the inflation report provides clearer signals for local and global market movements. Still in South Africa, the cocoa exporter Thungela Resources has warned that global thermal coal producers may be forced to reduce output as low prices continue to pressure the sector. The company reported an 80% plunge in half-year profits to 248 million rand, citing weaker demand. Falling prices and growing competition from renewable energy sources, Chief Executive Officer July Ndlovu noted that geopolitical tensions and slowing global growth have further disrupted supply chain, intensifying the strain on coal markets. Thermal coal prices have dropped significantly as countries accelerate the shift towards cleaner energy, while China and India, two of the largest importers, boosted domestic production. The industry is also facing disruptions from reduced output in Indonesia and Colombia and weather-related setbacks in Australia. Ndlovu stressed that deeper cuts in global production may be necessary to restore balance in the seaborne coal market. Despite the downturn, Thungela expects to produce between 12.8 million and 13.6 million metric tons of thermal coal in South Africa this year, alongside 3.7 million to 4.1 million metric tons from its Ensham mine in Australia. The company reported that realized export prices for South Africa and Australian coal declined by 11% and 10% respectively in the first half of 2025, underscoring the scale of market pressure facing the fossil fuel industry. Away from that, Indonesia's President Prabowo Subianto is adopting a state-led economic strategy aimed at boosting growth while maintaining tighter control over government spending. The approach reflects his populist vision to expand Southeast Asia's largest economy through increased state intervention and strategic investment. The president's strategy underscores a shift towards stronger government influence in economic planning, with an emphasis on infrastructure, industrial development, and national projects. Analysts note that this move could stimulate domestic activity, but also raises questions about fiscal discipline and efficiency. By prioritizing state power as a driver of expansion, Indonesia seeks to accelerate growth, enhance resilience, and reduce reliance on external shocks. The balance between growth, ambition, and prudent fiscal management is set to shape the country's economic trajectory in the coming years. And now Britain has suspended the planned introduction of extra border checks on live animals import from the European Union in a move aimed at easing trade flows. The UK government announced on Monday that the suspension also covers certain animal and plant goods imported from Ireland. The decision comes ahead of the implementation of a May trade deal designed to reduce post-Brexit friction between Britain and the EU. Officials says the pause will help smoothen supply chains, support businesses, and ensure stability in food and agricultural trade before the new framework takes full effect. The government did not specify a new timeline for the checks, but stressed that biosecurity standards would not be compromised despite the delay. And Britain's main stock indexes slipped on Monday, pressured by losses in the financial and energy sector as investors tracked US-led peace talks on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. As at 10 a.m. in the morning, the blue chip FTSE 100 was down 0.1%, retreating from Friday's intraday record high, though it still ended last week with modest gain. The FTSE 250 mid-cap index also fell 0.1%. Analysts said the cautious mood reflected global market uncertainty, with geopolitical risk and sector-specific weakness weighing on sentiment. It's still the world news here at SouqNews Television, but we'll be taking a break and we'll return with more stories. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Nigerian leather industry has a storied history, particularly in the northern parts of the country, where the art of leather farming and crafting has been perfected over centuries. Traditionally, leather was used primarily for functional items like sandals, bags, and saddles, with little emphasis on fashion. However, the narrative has changed drastically in recent years as Nigerian leather has evolved from a utilitarian product to a symbol of luxury and high fashion. Here is a special report by Raphael Onyedika. The turning point for Nigerian leather came as local designers began to recognize its potential beyond traditional uses. They started to experiment with new designs, creating products that appeal to the modern consumer while maintaining the heritage of craftsmanship. The result has been a wave of leather products that are not only functional, but also stylish and desirable on the global stage. One of the key factors driving the revolution is the exceptional quality of Nigerian leather. Known for its durability and unique texture, Nigerian leather, particularly from goats and cattle, has become highly sought after by fashion houses both within and outside Africa. This demand has encouraged local artisans to up their game, focusing on quality control and finishing techniques to meet international standards. Moreover, Nigerian leather products have benefited from the global trend towards sustainable and ethically produced goods. Consumers are increasingly turning away from massively produced items in favor of the handcrafted, sustainable alternatives. Nigerian leather made using traditional methods with minimal environmental impact fits perfectly into this narrative. This has opened up markets for Nigerian leather goods, particularly in Europe and North America, where there is a growing appreciation for products with a story and a conscience. The rise of Nigerian leather on the fashion scene is also closely tied to the country's booming creative industry. Fashion designers, many of whom had gained international recognition, are incorporating leather into their collections and innovative ways. From sleek handbags and bespoke shoes to stylish jackets and accessories, the Nigerian leather is becoming a staple in high fashion. This trend is not only boosting the profile of Nigerian fashion, but also creating new opportunities for economic growth. The leather industry, once dominated by small-scale craftsmen, is now attracting significant investment. Entrepreneurs are setting up modern tannery and workshops, creating jobs and fostering skills development in the process. This industrialization of leather products is helping to formalize what was once an informal sector, leading to better working conditions and high incomes for artisans. However, the success of Nigerian leather market did not emerge without challenges. The industry still faces issues related to infrastructure, access to finance, and competition from imported goods. Additionally, there is the need for more investment in technology and innovation to further enhance the quality of leather products and make them more competitive in the global market. Despite these challenges, the future of Nigerian leather products looks bright. There is a growing recognition of the value of locally produced leather goods, both within Nigeria and globally. This is evident in the increasing number of fashion shows and trade fairs dedicated to promoting Nigerian leather products, as well as the rising demand from international buyers. The evolution of Nigerian leather from a utilitarian material to a symbol of high fashion is a testament to the creativity and resilience of the Nigerian artisan. advance. It reflects the broader trend in the global fashion industry towards sustainability and craftsmanship. As the world continues to embrace African fashion, Nigerian leather is poised to become a major player on the international stage, offering a unique blend of tradition, quality, and style. This is just the beginning of what promises to be an exciting new chapter for Nigerian leather.
It's still the world news here at Souk News Television. Glad to know you never left. Now we'll bring you more stories. Germany has insisted that the United States must deliver on its pledge to reduce tariffs on Europe-manufactured cars before any wider European Union-United States trade agreement can be formalized in writing. A government spokesman in Berlin stressed on Monday that car tariffs remain a critical striking point and must be cut swiftly to ease pressure on Germany's export-driven economy. The remarks follows the late July announcement of a framework trade deal between Washington and Brussels, which left many key provisions unsettled. German officials emphasized that their role is to back the European Commission in ensuring the United States keeps to its commitment, particularly in sectors vital to European industry. For Europe's automakers, the tariff issue carries heavy weight as the industry faces slowing global demand and rising competition from electric vehicle producers. Berlin's firm stance underscores how unresolved tariff disputes could delay the conclusion of a broader agreement, keeping transatlantic trade relations uncertain at a time of mounting economic headwinds. Still on, European equities opened the week on a weaker note as investors weighed geopolitical uncertainty and waited fresh signals on interest rate policy from the United States. The pan-European stock 600 index eased 0.2% after touching a 5-month peak, while Germany's DAX and Britain's FTSE also recorded slight losses. Analysts said the cautious mood reflected concerns over Ukraine peace discussions in Washington alongside expectations ahead of the Federal Reserve's Jackson Hole Symposium. Market attention is focused on United States President Donald Trump's meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and European leaders following last week's discussions with Russian President Vladimir Putin. While no agreement was reached, analysts noted that momentum for a broader peace framework could influence energy and defense spending, factors with direct implications for European bond yields and corporate earnings outlook. Beyond geopolitics, traders are pricing in a high probability of a quarter-point rate cut by the United States Federal Reserve in September, with further easing likely by year-end. Earning strength, particularly in the technology sector, continues to underpin valuations, but concerns over slowing global growth and rising fiscal deficits are keeping markets volatile. Investors expect more clarity from Fed Chair Jerome Powell's policy address later this week. Still in the news, concerns are mounting over the durability of tariff agreements announced recently by United States President Donald Trump as trading partners signal frustration with incomplete deals. According to Bloomberg, several agreements unveiled with much fanfare were not fully developed, leaving negotiations hanging and implementation uncertain. This comes just days after Trump's welcomed Russian President Vladimir Putin to Washington, raising hopes of broader geopolitical breakthroughs, including on the Ukraine conflict. The lack of clarity in these tariff arrangements is already unsettling global trade partners, many of whom had anticipated swift relief from tariffs. Instead, the incomplete nature of the deals has raised fears of fresh disputes and prolonged economic frictions. Analysts warn that the White House's celebratory announcements may have overstated progress, while the reality of finalizing and enforcing trade deals is proving more complex. For businesses and investors, the uncertainty is contributing to a volatile trade environment with supply chain and tariff-dependent industries facing new risks. The unfinished deals highlight ongoing tension between political announcements and economic realities, underscoring the difficulty of delivering quick trade wins in a global economy already weakened by conflict and protectionism. And wrapping up with sports, Nigeria's The Tigers sealed their spot in the quarterfinals of the 2025 FIBA AfroBasket Championship in Angola after a 99-90 win, over Cameroon on Sunday. Both teams had won their opening 2 games, making the clash at the Pavilhão Multisources de Londa a decisive winner-takes-all battle for a last 8 ticket. Cameroon started strong, racing to a 5-0 lead in the opening quarter, but Nigeria quickly responded, taking control to edge the quarter 28-25 in the second quarter. Coach Mohamed Abdul Rahman's men dominated with an aggressive offensive display, outscoring Cameroon 32-16 to build a commanding 60-41 lead at halftime. Although the Cameroonians fought hard in the second half, Nigeria held their ground to close out the win, with their balanced attack and defense intensely proving decisive. Super Eagles midfielder Raphael Onyedika is edging closer to a more move away from Club Brugge, but reports in Belgium suggest the club will not sell him for less than 15 million euros. According to reports, Brugge were open to selling Onyedika last summer, but no club was willing to meet their 20 million euros valuation. Belgian journalist Valeria van Avermaet of the Nieuwsblad revealed that the Nigerian's name has been on scouting lists across Europe all season, attracting strong interest from several clubs. Other reports noted that Onyedika is almost certain to leave Brugge this summer, with the club prepared for his departure. Onyedika, 23, joined Club Brugge in 2022 from Danish side FC Midfielderland and has since established himself as a key midfielder, impressing with his ball-winning ability and physical presence, with growing interest across top leagues. His potential transfer could become one of Nigeria's biggest midfield moves in the coming weeks. And that's a wrap on the news, but before we go, we bring you a recap of today's top stories. Nigeria sustains oil production above OPEC quota, hits 1.5 million barrels per day. Federal government approves 142 billion naira for constructing modern bus terminals in 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. Uganda launches 4th large-scale Chinese-owned gold mining project. Germany insists on U.S. pledge to reduce tariffs on Europe-manufactured cars before any wider EU-US agreement. Nigeria's The Tigers beat Cameroon 99-90 to advance to AfroBasket qualifiers. And that's the news this afternoon. We say many thanks for watching. Do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms at SouqNewsTV. My name is Grace Komalafe. Do have a good afternoon.